The Art of War by Sun Tzu is not a book about violence. It's a book about wisdom, awareness, and control. Written more than 2,500 years ago, it remains one of the most influential works on strategy ever created. Its lessons have guided emperors and generals, but also leaders, entrepreneurs, and thinkers who understand that life itself is a battlefield. One fought not with weapons, but with perception, discipline, and clarity of mind. Sun Tzu's philosophy is simple yet profound. The greatest victory is the one won without fighting. True mastery, he teaches, is not the conquest of others, but the mastery of oneself. Every battle, whether personal, professional, or emotional, is first won in the mind. The warrior who remains calm, adaptable, and aware already holds the advantage. At its heart, the art of war is a manual for strategic living. It teaches us how to prepare before acting, how to recognize the rhythm of events, and how to move through life like water, powerful yet yielding, assertive yet wise. In a world driven by speed and reaction, Sun Tzu invites us to slow down and think, to observe more, speak less, and act only when the moment is right. His lessons are not just for the battlefield. They are for every decision, challenge, and moment where clarity decides outcome. To fight and conquer in all your battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. The Art of War is, ultimately, a book about inner balance and outer strength. It shows us how to win gracefully, and more importantly, when not to fight at all. Section 1. The Essence of Strategy. For Sun Tzu, strategy is the art of shaping reality before it shapes you. It is the quiet power of foresight, preparation, and timing, a discipline of mind rather than a display of force. Victory, he teaches, belongs not to the strongest, but to the most aware. True strategy begins long before the first move. It is built through observation, patience, and the ability to read the invisible currents beneath events. Sun Tzu warns that rushing into action without clarity is like entering battle blindfolded. Courage without wisdom becomes self-destruction. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. The master strategist does not wait for luck or chaos to decide the outcome. He studies the terrain, the opponent, and his own limitations. He sees opportunity where others see disorder, and uses timing as his greatest weapon. Strategy, in Sun Tzu's world, is not just a military skill. It's a way of living with intentional awareness. It means recognizing patterns in people and events, predicting reactions, and positioning yourself so that victory becomes the natural conclusion of your preparation. Every action, no matter how small, has meaning in strategy. Every silence can be a move. The one who understands this, who acts from understanding rather than impulse, walks through life like a chess master, several moves ahead, yet always calm. In the end, Sun Tzu reminds us that strategy is not about aggression. It's about balance, knowing when to move, when to wait, and when to let the world move for you. He will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. Section 2. Knowing yourself and knowing others. Perhaps the most famous line in The Art of War is also its deepest truth. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Sun Tzu believed that all conflict, whether on the battlefield or within the self, is won through understanding. Before confronting the outer world, you must first master your inner one. If you do not know your own strengths, weaknesses, emotions, and limits, you will be controlled by them. To know yourself means to cultivate self-awareness, to understand your temperament, impulses, fears, and desires. The wise warrior studies his reactions as carefully as his weapons. He knows when pride clouds his vision, when emotion overpowers reason, and when silence is stronger than speech. To know others means to perceive without judgment, to see people as they are, not as you wish them to be. The strategist reads behavior like a language. Tone, hesitation, and rhythm all reveal truth. He listens more than he speaks and observes more than he interferes. Sun Tzu teaches that insight into both self and other is what allows one to anticipate, adapt, and remain calm in chaos. Conflict, then, becomes not a fight, but a conversation of awareness. Those who lack understanding fall into reaction. They are provoked easily, blinded by emotion, and defeated not by others, but by their own ignorance. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. Ultimately, this lesson is not about war at all. It's about clarity. When you know yourself deeply and perceive others accurately, you move through the world with quiet confidence. You stop fighting shadows and start mastering reality. Section 3. The role of preparation and planning. In the art of war, Sun Tzu makes one truth unmistakable. Victory is decided long before the battle begins. Success in war and in life belongs to those who plan deeply, observe carefully, and act deliberately. The unprepared rely on chance. The wise rely on foresight. The general who wins a battle makes many calculations before the battle is fought. The general who loses makes but few preparation. For Sun Tzu is not about rigid control. It is about clarity. The strategist maps terrain, studies patterns, and anticipates outcomes, but remains flexible when the moment changes. Every plan is a framework for awareness, not a prison for the mind. He teaches that all chaos is predictable when viewed with calm observation. What looks like luck or misfortune to the impatient is, to the strategist, the natural result of preparation or the lack of it. The prepared person understands timing. They act not too soon and not too late. They conserve energy, wait for the right moment, and strike with precision instead of force. This discipline of patience is what separates mastery from mediocrity. Preparation also requires self-discipline, the willingness to think before acting and to train before testing. A sharp blade is useless in unsteady hands. Sun Tzu's lesson applies everywhere, in business, art, relationships, and personal growth. The one who prepares inwardly, who builds focus, patience, and awareness, will succeed outwardly. The skillful fighter puts himself into a position which makes defeat impossible. To prepare, then, is to create the conditions for victory, not through chance or aggression, but through understanding, patience, and intelligent design. The wise do not predict the future, they prepare for it. Section 4. The power of flexibility. Among Sun Tzu's greatest insights is the principle of adaptability, the understanding that rigidity is the path to ruin, while flexibility is the path to mastery. In war, the way is to avoid what is strong and strike at what is weak. Like water, which takes the shape of any vessel, the wise strategist flows around obstacles instead of colliding with them. He adjusts to every circumstance, turning adversity into opportunity. To resist change is to break. To move with it is to win. Sun Tzu teaches that no plan survives unchanged, because conditions are never static. The environment, the opponent, even the self, all are in motion. The strong mind does not cling to one method or expectation. It reads the moment and responds with clarity, not panic. Water shapes its course according to the nature of the ground over which it flows. The soldier works out his victory in relation to the foe whom he is facing. This lesson applies far beyond warfare. In life, rigidity often appears as pride, fear, or the refusal to adapt. The flexible person, however, can change direction without losing purpose. They bend without breaking. They know that success is not about dominance, but about harmony with change. Flexibility also demands humility, the recognition that the world is bigger than your plans. The wise do not force their will onto events. They align their actions with the natural flow of circumstances. In this way, they achieve great results with minimal resistance. To be like water, Sun Tzu reminds us, is to embody both power and peace, soft enough to yield, yet strong enough to carve through stone. Adaptability, therefore, is not weakness. It is the highest expression of strength. Section 5. Leadership and Discipline. For Sun Tzu, victory depends less on weapons or numbers than on leadership, the rare ability to guide others with wisdom, calmness, and control. A true leader, he writes, is not one who commands by fear, but one who leads through clarity and example. A leader leads by example, not by force. The strength of an army, or a team, or a community mirrors the character of its leader. When the leader is disciplined, the people are steady. When the leader is rash or emotional, confusion spreads like fire. Thus, self-mastery is the root of leadership. Sun Tzu identifies 5 virtues of a great commander: wisdom, understanding both people and timing; sincerity, honesty that builds trust and unity; benevolence, compassion that inspires loyalty; courage, strength to act despite uncertainty; discipline, structure and consistency that maintain order. These qualities create not fear, but respect. And respect is what binds people together, even in hardship. But Sun Tzu also warns against the dangers of imbalance. Too much compassion can weaken authority. Too much discipline can kill spirit. The wise leader maintains balance, firm but fair, calm yet decisive. He who is prudent and lies in wait for an enemy who is not will be victorious. Leadership, in Sun Tzu's view, is as much about emotional intelligence as strategy. A leader must sense the morale of his people, know when to push and when to rest, when to speak and when to stay silent. In modern life, this lesson extends beyond armies. Whether in business, art, or family, leadership begins with self-command. The person who governs their impulses, emotions, and ego governs outcomes. True leadership is quiet power, not dominance, but direction, not control, but composure. As Sun Tzu teaches, the wise general wins first in his mind and then in the world. Section 6. The Psychology of Conflict. Sun Tzu understood that every battle begins long before swords are drawn. It begins in the mind. Conflict, whether between nations or individuals, is an exchange of perception, emotion, and awareness. The one who understands the psychology of conflict commands its outcome. If your opponent is of choleric temper, seek to irritate him. Pretend to be weak, that he may grow arrogant. This is not manipulation for cruelty's sake. It is strategic awareness. Sun Tzu saw emotions as powerful forces that can be either weapons or weaknesses. Anger blinds, fear freezes, pride exposes. Patience, by contrast, reveals. A wise strategist uses understanding, not aggression, to control the field. To master conflict is to master human behavior. The calm observer notices patterns others miss: tone, posture, overconfidence, fatigue. Through this awareness, he can predict actions and neutralize threats before they grow. Sun Tzu also understood morale, the invisible energy that determines victory. Confidence, unity, and clarity make even a small force powerful, while confusion and fear can dissolve the strongest army. In life, this translates to maintaining focus and inner balance when others lose theirs. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. The wise do not fear conflict. They use it to refine understanding. They recognize that tension reveals truth. It shows what others value, fear, or ignore. To win, one must remain emotionally detached, yet deeply aware. Sun Tzu's ultimate lesson here is that the greatest battle is internal. If you allow anger, pride, or fear to dictate your actions, you are already defeated. But if you remain centered and aware, every external conflict becomes a mirror for self-mastery. To control the mind in conflict is to command victory before it begins. Section 7. Deception, Timing, and Awareness. In The Art of War, Sun Tzu reveals that true mastery is not brute strength, but subtle intelligence, the ability to read timing, conceal intent, and act with precision. Victory, he teaches, often belongs to the one who sees more and reveals less. All warfare is based on deception. This does not mean deceit in the immoral sense, but rather strategic concealment. A wise general never exposes his full strength or emotion. He appears weak when strong, calm when ready to strike, distant when near. In doing so, he shapes his opponent's perception, turning unpredictability into advantage. The essence of deception, for Sun Tzu, is awareness. You cannot mislead what you do not understand. Deception without insight is foolishness. Deception with clarity is art. It is not about manipulation. It is about control of information and command of timing. Timing, too, is a weapon. Acting too early wastes potential. Acting too late invites defeat. The strategist studies rhythm, the natural rise and fall of events, and moves in harmony with it. Just as the skilled surfer waits for the perfect wave, the wise leader waits for the exact moment when conditions align. He who is prudent and lies in wait for an enemy who is not will be victorious. Sun Tzu teaches that awareness and timing are inseparable. Awareness gives understanding. Timing gives opportunity. Together, they form the heart of strategy, the invisible dance between patience and precision. In life, this wisdom applies to all forms of action. Success in business, art, or relationships depends not on constant motion, but on intentional stillness, the readiness to act exactly when the moment demands it. The world often mistakes stillness for inaction, but Sun Tzu saw it as preparation, the silence before thunder. Victory, in the end, belongs not to the loud or the reckless, but to those who move with quiet awareness and perfect timing. Section 8. Victory without battle. For Sun Tzu, the highest form of mastery is not to fight, but to win without conflict. Violence is a failure of understanding. The wise conquer through strategy, influence, and awareness, not destruction. To subdue the enemy without fighting is the acme of skill. True victory, Sun Tzu teaches, comes from shaping the conditions before conflict ever begins. When you know yourself, understand others, and control perception, the battle ends before the first move. The opponent concedes, not from defeat, but from recognition of your mastery. In this sense, the art of war is not about war at all. It's about harmony through intelligence. The ultimate strategist wins by removing the need for struggle. He outthinks, outlasts, and outprepares his rival, so thoroughly that resistance becomes pointless. Sun Tzu believed that the greatest leaders are not those who destroy, but those who preserve, who restore balance instead of chaos. War, he said, should only be a last resort, never an obsession. The goal is peace through understanding, not victory through domination. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. This wisdom applies far beyond the battlefield. In daily life, it means mastering situations through calm and foresight instead of reaction, winning arguments without shouting, solving problems before they escalate, turning competition into cooperation. The mature mind does not crave battle. It creates conditions of peace. Sun Tzu's vision of victory is elegant and timeless. The warrior who never has to draw his sword, because his presence alone commands respect. To live by this philosophy is to rise above conflict, to transform strength into serenity and awareness into power. Key lessons and closing reflection. Sun Tzu's The Art of War endures because it is not merely a manual on combat. It is a guide to consciousness, discipline, and intelligent living. It reminds us that the real battlefield lies within, and that wisdom, patience, and awareness are the ultimate forms of strength. Here are the core lessons distilled from the book. Win before you fight. Victory is prepared through awareness and foresight. Success comes from shaping conditions, not reacting to them. Know yourself and know others. Self-awareness and perception are the twin pillars of strategy. Understanding emotion, motive, and behavior makes you undefeatable. Preparation creates confidence. The one who studies the terrain in business, relationships, or life moves with calm precision instead of fear. Flexibility is strength. Like water, adapt to every obstacle. Rigidity breaks. Fluidity endures. Discipline and leadership mirror each other. True command begins with self-command. The leader who controls his emotions leads through presence, not pressure. Conflict begins in the mind. Emotion clouds judgment. Calmness and patience turn chaos into opportunity. Timing is everything. Knowing when to act is as important as knowing how. The wise wait for alignment rather than forcing progress. The highest victory is peace. Power is not proven through domination, but through the ability to achieve results without destruction. In the end, Sun Tzu's message is one of mastery over reaction. He teaches that the world cannot be controlled, but the self can. When we master our emotions, study the rhythm of life, and move with awareness, we begin to live strategically, not as pawns of circumstance, but as conscious players of the game. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. To practice the art of war is to live with precision and grace, to face life's battles without fear, and to realize that the greatest victory is inner peace, won through wisdom. Download this summary in high-quality MP3 format at MindShelf.net. For more timeless book summaries on spiritual growth, psychology, self-improvement, and the art of living wisely, Subscribe to MindShelf on YouTube and keep expanding your inner library of wisdom. Grow in awareness, live in balance. This is MindShelf.